Okay, what's going on everyone? Doc here, and today I just wanted to do a quick video. This is my third year doing this. It's a bit of a roster and progression update video. So I do these mostly for myself to make a little snapshot of everything, every single part of my account, but hopefully you guys at least find it a little bit interesting. And I do want to show off my masteries in this video, which I haven't shown off, and they have probably been around for about 3 years, and hopefully this year I'll get around to changing them. So this is a screenshot from 2 years ago now. This is one of the first couple videos I made on the channel. You see one R4, and that was of course Quake. I think she was like Sig 100 here, and then 12 maxed 4 stars, and that was the top of my roster. Last year, big upgrade, but you can still see some 4 stars there. But there were quite a lot more. I'd say there were about at least over 20, somewhere around there. But I also added in Voodoo, Spider-Man, and Iceman at R4. Maxed out Quake, she was Sig 160. And I also got 4 6 stars. This year, even more progress. 5 maxed 5 stars now. I'm super happy with all of them. And 4 are 4s. Fourth ones, you got Spider-Man, Carnage, Gulk, and Heimdall all this year. And the fourth one hiding all the way down there is Iceman. Nova is from the content creator program. I put out the video making this video until the embargo was gone up on him. So I'm a little bit late on this. I made it on the 12th the first year, 12th the second year, and now I'm on to the 13th, but I'll just mark it down to the 12th. So I'm gonna basically, I still consider myself a semi-casual player for the most part. I did recently join a Map 6 and Map 7 Alliance, but what I mean by semi-casual is that there's no way I'm ever going to catch up to the big whales and the big alliances and that kind of stuff. I'm now in a top 100 AQ alliance, which is great, and I'm pushing myself to go further and further into the game, into stuff like Act 6 and endgame content, but I'm never going to catch up. I was a very casual player for my first 3 years. It took me a very long time to get my first 4 star, even longer to get my first 5 star, which ended up being Ant-Man. But this year I've really pushed myself a lot further. So 6 stars have gotten quite a lot more. So from 4 all the way up to 12. Most recent being a Winter Soldier. Gamora got and duped her. She's fantastic. Sim Supreme is phenomenal. By far the best 6 star that I have. Definitely considering R2ing him, and hopefully if I dupe him I can also R3 him. Iron Man Infinity War is alright, and Mephisto, the last one that's worthy of mentioning, he's really fun with a full synergy team of Sim Supreme, the champion, and a couple others. All the other 6 stars aren't really worth mentioning. I use them every once in a while, specifically Nebula if I need a double immune champion, and Captain America World War II, just because he's very consistently basic, and sometimes that can be good. 5 stars is where my biggest focus was this year. So not only did I max 5, but I brought quite a few more to R4. Right now I'm looking at probably Heimdall as my next rank 5 champion. And if I do that, I'll make a video on him and give you a whole bunch of reasons why I like him. Like I said, Nova's going to be gone out of my account in a couple hours. I think at this point, I'm not quite sure. A lot more R3s this year. That was my biggest focus. I basically cut 4 stars out, stopped ranking them up in July, August sometime, and I've been focusing on rank 3 or higher other 5 stars. So Havoc, Captain America, Doc Ock, Mortal's been at R3 literally forever. MODOK, Archangel, Ronin, Massacre, Psylocke, and Colossus I all brought to R3 this year. And then Black Panther OG has been at R3 for a very, very long time. So lots of progression there, lots of growth. Some personal favorites, some like Colossus that I'm really considering rank up even higher, especially because I have a 2016 Mutant Art 3 to 4 gem, but I have regular Mutant 3 to 4 gems as well. Other than that, my 5 star roster still lacks a lot of key points. I do have a 5 star Sim Supreme, and I could rank him up, but I'm thinking I'm going to stick with a 6 star. Human Torch is a really interesting one, but I'm not sure if he fills in any thing that I'm missing between Quake and Wasp. I think my science is very strong. I also have Gulf to back him up if I even need it. Night Thrasher is an interesting one as well, but I'm not a big fan of his playstyle. Taskmaster, I am a big fan of his playstyle, but he's not that great. Void, I'm not a fan of, and Hyperion is probably going to go at least to R3 pretty soon. She-Hulk, I brought her down from R3. when that fix of the heavy attack happens, because that was just too much fun to not do. So maybe I'll bring her back up. But other than that, I really don't have much to rank up at this moment. And I'm really waiting on some good 5 stars. So you can see I have 14 science. Like most of the good ones, if not all of them, except for the thing. Skill is really, really lacking. If you look through this, you see no demigod, no god tier, other than ones that are arguable, like Night Thrasher. But really, that's it. I need some really good skill champions. Mutant, there's some okay ones in here. Iceman's alright, but he's fine at R4. And I haven't duped him in 2 years, so I don't think I'm going to dupe him anytime soon. Colossus is, like I said, probably going to go up. I'm not sure if I'm going to awaken him or not. If I end up with a mutant awakening gem at some point, possibly. And Psylocke's a personal favorite, but I know that she's not phenomenal. But she's a really good power control option, so maybe, just out of personal preference. And the rest are kind of weak here. Really looking for a Namor or something like that. Cosmic, a lot. And I'm fine with Cosmic. Hyperion and Medusa would clear literally anything that I ever needed them to. Tech, I have 15 of, and again, these are pretty good. I have Spider-Man Stark Enhanced. I've not used him in a very, very long time. He sits on defense now, because no one else in my lines that I know of wants to put him on defense, because I'm just not a big fan of him. And Warlock is an absolute god. Darkhawk I haven't really ranked up, but I might try him out a little bit soon. And then finally, Mystic. Now, see, I have a lot of Awakening Gems, and from showing all different classes, I bet you could guess which class that I have the most Awakening Gems for. So, Mystic is really weak, Mutant is pretty weak, and Skill is really weak as well. So, I went to the store by accident. Of course, that's who my Awakening Gems are for. I have 2 Skill and 3 Mystic, and I'm taking at least one of these generics for a mutant champion. So these 2 generics are from Act 5 100% and from the Christmas gift, and one of them is absolutely going to a mutant. I also have another science, so that's 8 total Awakening Gems between various different classes. The reason it's going to a mutant is, one, because I really need a good mutant, and also I have a ton of mutant Sigstones. I have even more Sigstone crystals, 5-star Sigstone crystals, and a lot of other skill Sigstones as well. So I have the Sigstones to bring up a mutant and a skill champion easily. And those are the 2 classes that I'm missing from rank 5 as well right now. Rank up gems. See that 4 to 5 skill there? Yeah, skill champions, I kind of really, really need them at this point. It's one of the reasons why I don't have Deep Wounds maxed out. Mutant champions, you can see lots of different options there, and I also have the 3 to 4 2016. Yeah, so prior to the end of 2016, which is probably going to Colossus. I also have a 3 to 4 2016 skill, which I was kind of hoping for an OG Black Widow from a feature, but I missed her and got a Vulture instead. And then 3 to 4 science, which will probably sit around forever. Maybe Spider-Gwen if I ever happen to get her. Or She-Hulk, actually, is probably... I already have She-Hulk, and then some skill gems as well. So, also want to show my catalysts. 5 T5 basic, maxed on T4, Tier 4 basic. Full on Mutant, of course, full on Mystic. Lacking a little bit in Science, and Science, Tech, and Cosmic, which is why I haven't R5 timed yet. But if you go, where is it? And I'm also maxed on skill. So, really, my thing with my champions right now is that I have all the resources, but I am very, very much awaiting the champions themselves. Now, because I said I was going to talk about, I'll talk about masteries and then my story quest progress, story quest and variant progress. So, masteries, I've never shown these off, and I've kind of, after doing 1 or 2 records of this and looking over my masteries, I kind of realized that there are some issues in them. This is a very, very basic setup, and if I could, and I will eventually be looking at redoing them, but right now I'm honestly fine with where they are, and it's a pretty basic setup, but it works for me. So this is my offense, 26 points, 16 points in defense, and 14 in proficiencies. So Offense, I have full precision and full cruelty, which are almost necessary. I think pretty much everyone has those. I have 3-3 in Pierce, don't quite need that, but it can be nice to have, especially on a 90% armor node. And I also have maxed courage, which I really like because I get increased attack. My champs are below 50%, great for someone like Quake, who's fine on fighting at 50%. Honestly, most champions are fine on fighting at just below 50% mark anyways, and you still got that bonus damage. Deep Wounds 1 of 5. So I have the first thing unlocked. I don't have the second thing unlocked, but if I were to get a great skill champion like Nick Fury, then absolutely I'd be happy to unlock and put more points in Deep Wounds, but I just don't quite need it right now with a really weak skill roster. And then 3-3 in Glass Cannon, just because I prefer to be in the offense instead of the defense. Defense, I have a couple points and some interesting things here. 1 of 3 in Willpower. I should probably bring that back to 2 because I do have the second one unlocked. I have 3 of 3 in Salve, which is really interesting one. This one helped me out in Variant 4, actually, just by having it. I've had it forever. I've never taken it off. But it's great to just get a little bit of extra health, especially when you're fighting with lower health champions. It's 1 or 2 level 1 health potions per fight, basically. And it can add up over time, especially in Variant 2 in the last chapter with the ones with 1 stars and 2 stars. It was really helpful to have. I have 4 in extra block efficiency and perfect block, which only gives me a 4% perfect block chance, so it's not too great. And I have 2 of 4 and 2 of 5 in Stand Your Ground. So what Stand Your Ground does is I have a 20% chance to resist a block break, which is a heavy attack, which means that I have a 20% chance to parry a heavy attack. It's really interesting to have. I unlocked it a very long time ago, and I've kept it around, and it has saved me every once in a while. 20% isn't something you can count on. At max level, you can actually get to 50%, which is really, really good. Especially for 50% chance to parry a heavy attack. If you're back against the corner, it can really come in handy to save you sometimes. Also, if you when you place your champions on defense, they have a chance to do this as well, to parry the opponent's heavy attack, and they can really mess that up. Proficiencies, 3 of 5 in Mystic Dispersion, and all the other points are pretty much so that I could unlock Mystic Dispersion. That's why I have 2 of 3 in parry instead of 1 of 3. I do have Max Limber, and that's really nice to reduce the duration of the stun on me. And Max Stupefy to increase the duration of stuns on the opponent. And then Dexterity as well. Basically, parry and Dexterity are the necessities. So that's my masteries. Never really showed that off before. Hopefully, I'm going to try and unlock Liquid Courage at some point. Just the poison one. I don't want to do double edge. Just Liquid Courage. And hopefully finish out Willpower. Maybe put a couple points into Deep Wounds. And then put 1 more point in Mystic Dispersion. So most of those points I'll probably pull from block proficiency, perfect block. If I put 2 of 3 or 3 of 3 in Willpower, then I'll probably take points out of Salve. And then offense, I'll probably take the points out of Pierce. So I am missing a couple mastery points, though. If you know how many mastery points you're supposed to have, it's, I think, 59, something like that. And those didn't quite add up. And that would be because of my story quest progress. So I'm into Act 6 now. So I've done first and second chapter, first clear, and I'm currently working on the third chapter, first clear. It's difficult. It's not impossible. I'm slowly kind of working on it. And hopefully I'm going to do Act 6, Chapter 4, first clear. I did the first clear in the beta, and it wasn't too bad. I'm having a lot more trouble in 6.3 now, actually. I R5'd my 5-star Colossus when I did the beta, and he was the only one I ranked up for the beta, and he did fine. So I'm thinking as long as I rank him up, and then I'll probably be able to use him in 6.4 as well again. And I should be perfectly fine. Act 5, I did 100% this year. I think I just had the first chapter 100%, and that was it at the beginning of the year. And I completed this a couple months ago now, and it was interesting. It was at the perfect time of my account, I think, because the rewards are still really, really good. I still really need that 5-star generic, and I know there's plenty of people I can use it on once I get them. And the T5 basic are great as well to have. I can now max out 3 different champions, not only because of T5 basic, and I think I'm close to a 6th one as well. I have 5, but I also have that 5-star skill awakening gem. Act 4 is where the hidden mastery points are. At this point, the rewards aren't worth it, but the mastery points are. So at some point, I'm just waiting until I can just auto fight through this whole thing and just basically auto fight through it while doing something else. I haven't decided when I'm going to do this, but at some point I will. And they also reduced the energy cost. It used to be 3, now it's 2. And I think there's a lot of energy refills to be had in there as well. So I could probably just do it. It'll take a long time, but it'll get done eventually. Hopefully by the end of this year. Variants is the last thing I want to talk about. So variants, I've had quite a bit of progress this year. Starting off with variant 1, I hated it, but I finally finished first clear. This thing took forever, especially this last chapter here. I meant to click on the requirements, but it's science and cosmic. I thought it would be the easiest because I have so many good science and cosmic champions, but it was not easy at all. Super, super difficult, but it's done, and I'm probably never going to go back to 100% that one. Variant 2 was no real issue. I used Quake pretty much through this whole thing. Variant 3, as soon as I rank 5 to Warlock, I finished the first clear of this. He absolutely shredded it, especially the last chapter. He was perfect for these last 2 fights. Having immunities and having that robot uprising synergy to gain the Fury effect against Colossus, and also having a heal block against Kang. He just cleared those fights solo both times. Finally, Variant 4. This is where that rank 5 skill gem comes from. I love Variant 4. Variant 4 was a ton of fun. I did it really, really fast because I wanted to get the extra gold while that 20% gold boost is up back on the anniversary week. But this was by far the most fun variant that I've ever played. Just being able to use all my old max 2 stars, all my old max 3 stars, and my very large roster of max 4 stars, it was just a ton of fun going back to use. Basically, because I spent so long as a casual player, I ranked up so many of these characters because I couldn't get the higher star characters, and I was fine using 2s and 3s for such a long time that I have quite a few of them ranked up, quite a few different utilities in there, and I was able to do it no problem. I think I leveled up a couple 1 stars to do that, but it was maybe 10k gold at the time, and it really was worth it for that extra 1.2 mil. Uncollected, of course, I've done 100% monthly every single month this year. There was probably 1 or 2 months. I went to store again some of my champions. So yeah, that pretty much goes over everything I think I wanted to do. Hopefully you at least found this a little bit interesting, a little bit of a tour of my account after almost 5 years of playing now. I think my biggest focus for next year will be more 5 stars still. I'm not quite ready to move on to only focusing on 6 stars as I am onto only focusing on 5 stars and like I've done. But I'd like to hopefully get a 6-star R3 maybe by the end of this year. It really depends on the Act 6 first clear rewards, if that's even possible. I think it's likely to probably be a 50% T5 CC, but it'll be random, or it'll be a bunch of shards that all equal up to it. I have no idea. I have a lot of max 5 stars now, but I'd like to double the number and hopefully have 10 by this time next year, and hopefully 10 rank 4s to back up. I think that'll be a good number as well. And that 6-star R3 is my stretch goal easily. But just more 6 stars in general will be great to have as well. Hopefully some not too bad ones, and maybe a dupe of Sim Supreme in there would be phenomenal. So yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for this one. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.